Well, hey, everybody, it's another day right here in the Unfiltered podcast studio, another week. And I have a guest with me. Austin's with me today.
What up?
It's been a while since I've had a guest. Well, my wife was with me last time.
It's been a while since I've been on.
It has been a long time. Well, since last year, for sure. I mean, it is a new year. We're only 2 months in.
That is true.
But we're going to have a good show for you today. Today is what I'm going to call a free fall Friday. I stole that line and phrase from my good friend Brian Nieves, who used to have a radio show. I love it because guess what? We're going to talk about anything and everything. We really don't have any notes. We got a couple topics that we're going to discuss. We don't really have any information necessarily of what we're going to say because this is unfiltered, which means I'm a pastor who has a platform like this, a podcast, to speak about political, social, and biblical topics in an unfiltered way. And normally, I try to pick some things that we're going to talk about specifically, and we'll talk about that one thing throughout the whole entire show, like we did a few weeks ago talking about Valentine's Day. Or I did my bonus episode, which talked about nothing but health. But today's going to be a little bit about anything. So you ready for this?
I'm ready. Yeah,
I think the first thing I want to ask is, how are you doing in this health journey?
Okay, I'm glad you clarified. Overall, I'm good. I'm doing good. Health-wise, so the way that I have found really works for me.
Don't beat around the bush.
I'm not, but the way that really works for me, exercise-wise, is running. I do enjoy it. However, when you stop running and then you try to restart, it's basically like starting from scratch.
Yeah. Feels it.
And so my personal best, my personal records, and all of those things. I have a watch. I have all the gear and all that kind of stuff. That's collecting.
You got the shoes,
collecting
the
dust.
You even got the running shorts.
I got it all, right. So if you see me running down Highway 30 in my joggers, right. So it's hard because winter, right, and I hate running on treadmills. So long story short, I'm just giving you a bunch of excuses. I haven't started yet, but I do plan to kick it into gear in the next week because this weather's been beautiful.
Listen, I hope you guys are not doing what Austin's doing. Austin is a terrible example of procrastination.
It is true.
And giving me every excuse.
Yes.
It's cold outside. It feels like I'm starting over.
Yes.
It's winter.
Yes.
Whatever else.
But spiritually, I have never felt better.
Oh, well, hey, that's really important.
And mentally, I feel good. So I'm physically was like the last thing you talked about.
Yeah.
So now I got to catch up.
Finances.
I got to catch up there and financially. So it's a work in progress.
How are you doing physically? Those of you listening, I know many of you watched the podcast the last time. I have gotten a lot of messages about not the DNA, but the gene testing.
Yeah.
Lots of you went out and purchased the gene testing, and you're sharing with me your boxes that you got. I love it. I love it. I love it. I even had some spouses go, "Thanks a lot, Pastor. Now we're on this new health journey." And I'm like, yeah, well, that's a good thing. We should be on a health journey.
That's the point.
And I'm continuing mine. I'm doing well. I got my water with my the Perfect Amino. I can't remember the name of it. My Perfect Amino is in. That's why it's a little cloudy. It's not dirty water, okay? It's cloudy because I got my Perfect Amino in there. I'm a little late in actually taking that today because I've had a very busy morning. Yeah. But either way, I'm going to take that in just a little bit, and I'm doing well. I haven't really lost a lot of poundage. What are you smiling about? You drinking your coffee?
I got my full-fat coffee latte over here.
Yeah, I get it. I get it totally. But I hope you're doing well on your journey. Remember, this is not a diet. This is not anything other than just wanting to be healthy.
Yeah.
Want to do it God's way. I want to do what Paul says. I want to train my body in what it was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I want to do that spiritually as well. I mean, really, Paul's talking both aspects.
Yeah.
Spiritually, he wants to train his body what it was meant to do: love people, forgive people, have grace for people, think about people before himself, treat people the way he wants to be treated. I mean, all those things that are biblical, those are definitely good things we want to work on. But because we all know that struggling in the physical aspect is a big deal, and summer's around the corner.
It's coming quick.
Can you believe? I cannot believe it, but guess what? Daylight savings time is coming up in 1 week.
Holy cow, I didn't know
March
that.
9th.
Wow.
Sunday, March 9th, daylight savings time. We're going to gain an extra hour of daylight, not to mention we've already gained an extra hour of daylight because the days are beginning to get longer and longer. That means spring is coming. I want to say March 20th if I'm not mistaken. I
think you're right.
Spring. Maybe you can look that up.
Yeah,
while
I
I'm talking.
can. Spring.
But I think that's the first day of spring, which is only 23 days away or something like that.
March 20th is the
March
first.
20th.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
And so we're getting close, so that way you can go outside and run.
Yep.
You can have a good time outside and run. I like that too. I run on a treadmill.
Yeah.
Actually, what I've been doing, just to let you know, because if you're looking to lose weight, burn fat, running isn't the best way to do that.
Right.
Now, I love and enjoy running. That's why I do it. I don't necessarily, I'm doing it also to stay healthy.
Sure.
But what really gets you to boost your metabolism and to burn a lot of fat in your body is, one, you got to eat a lot of good fat and you got to eat a lot of protein, because that's what helps. But on a treadmill, if you do an incline of 12 and you walk 3.0, which is supposed to be 3 miles an hour, and you do that for 30 minutes, you will burn more calories and more fat than you would running.
And how many did you say miles?
30 minutes.
So just 30 minutes.
Which is basically, for me, walking at an incline of 12 at 3.0, it takes me 33 minutes to walk 2 miles.
Wow. Okay.
So
I could walk.
So, but I'm telling you,
Yeah.
your first 12 to 14 minutes on that incline isn't, well, for me, isn't really that big of a deal.
Yeah.
And my heart rate is only like maybe 110.
Yeah.
But those last 15 minutes,
Yeah.
I mean, it's about minute number 17 or 18. All of a sudden, your heart rate just jumps to like 150.
Dang.
And then it stays at like between 150 and 160 the rest of the time. It's insane. And all you're doing is walking.
Yeah, that I could do that.
And it's really, so I actually would like for somebody to do that and tell me how hard it is. Because for me, now I've been in training physically on a treadmill in the gym for 3 months.
Okay.
So I've been going 3 days a week religiously, sometimes 4 days a week. And so I've got a good pace. So doing 12 incline at 3.0 for 33 minutes is not that hard for me. Now I'm tired and I'm burning calories and I'm sweating, but I'm not like having to hold on to the treadmill. I'm not trying to slow it down and take breaks. I mean, I can bust right through it. So I'm curious what it's like for you, because it'd be cool if anybody just did that and chatted, or put on the comments what that's like. But that's how you can burn some good calories. And the reason why I switched it up is because I'm kind of at a plateau.
Yeah.
And I talked about this on Sunday. I've kind of hit this moment where I didn't want to be at the gym. I didn't want to work out. I didn't want to walk. I didn't want to run. I didn't want to do anything because I just feel like nothing's working. Yeah. I haven't seen any difference necessarily.
Yeah.
And so what I did, because everybody always looks at your weight. You're always looking at your weight, measuring how you're doing. But there's a point where your weight doesn't become the issue anymore. It's really inches and the body percentage, the
like
fat
BMI, basically.
Right. Your BMI is what begins to matter. So I had Erin take measurements every month, and when she took the measurements, I literally had lost another 1/8 inch around my stomach, and I lost another 1/8 inch around my chest. I'm only doing my chest, my waist, and my weight. Those are the only 3 measurements I do. My weight didn't change, but I still lost 1/8 of an inch, which isn't very much, but it's still progress, by the way.
Sure.
And I've lost 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch in my chest area. Get rid of those man boobs, okay? Because I had man boobs. Let's just call it for what it is. And they're going away on top of the eating correctly, taking all the supplements and the vitamins that I'm doing, and it's working really well, and I'm pretty excited about it.
No, I like it. That makes it a little bit easier. It feels a little bit more attainable to walk like that. Because I can do that on a treadmill. I hate running on a treadmill.
So do the walk.
Yeah, the walking, I don't know what it is. I don't know.
And it's not, it's not that bad. I bumped it up to like 3.3 for the last 10 minutes because I didn't feel like my heart rate was getting up there. But just that 0.3 difference makes a huge difference on that 12 incline.
Dang.
So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to do that for the next couple of weeks just to mix it up. I can't physically lift weights right now because of my shoulder is so bad. Matter of fact, day by day, it seems like it's getting worse. I've got a torn bicep. Supposed to have surgery, but I don't want to do surgery, so I'm going to try the platelet PRP.
Yeah.
It's some kind of you take your blood, they spin it through this machine, they put it back into the area where you have the affected area, the inflammation, and I'm hoping that's going to heal it. People say it works. I'm going to try that first. I got an appointment March 6th. If they don't feel like it's going to work, then I'm going to have to get the surgery, which means I'm going to be down for 8 weeks. So what sucks is I haven't been able to lift weights for 4 weeks, and if I'm down for another 8 weeks, that's going to make it 12 weeks. and then I got to start slow after the 12 weeks. So it's going to take me into the summer of not even getting where I want. But I'm still working my core. I'm still burning fat, still eating properly, and I'm not going to give up on that and let this little thing keep me down.
Sure.
And when it happens because I'm on a journey. I'm running a marathon here.
Yeah, not a sprint.
So
not a sprint.
That's everything going on with me.
Good.
As far as let's just talk about a couple topics that have been in the news that I get really frustrated about. One of them is I saw a post the other day, and I don't know how many of you care or even follow women's basketball or anything to do with women's basketball, but I do know this. There are 2 women basketball players right now that are, they're kind of a hot commodity. And one of them is Caitlin Clark. She's a white basketball player. And then you have Angel Reese, who is a black basketball player. And for some reason, my frustration is Angel Reese seems to always make this about race and about herself, and a lot of pride and whining and crying, and these two get into battles, but then it seems like they do well performing. It's just really weird dynamic. And at the end of the day, Angel Reese is very jealous of Caitlin Clark, has been from day one. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of different things that go into it, but I just want to read the very last article that I saw. It says, Nike unveils the giant Caitlin Clark billboard in Chicago near the Chicago Sky Arena. Here's Angel Reese's reply to this. And this is, quote, "This was obviously a planned target towards me and my people. This is my city, and I have millions of fans that look up to see me," end quote. I read that, and I get it, right? It's a headline. Are they twisting it? No, they're not twisting it, because she is literally verbally, I've heard her out of her mouth what she says. She says it with attitude. She says it with frustration. And she says it with so much pride it makes me sick and want to throw up. Because guess what? Pride comes before fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
We need to talk about this.
Yeah.
We need to just talk a little bit about this. It's just one example of how, especially in the sports arena, and athletes can get super, super selfish and prideful, like they're the ones that's talented. Mm-hmm. I mean, and essentially God is the one that gifted these women to be so talented. Angel Reese is talented. There is no doubt in my mind. Mm-hmm. She's a very talented basketball player. But she's not the one that made that happen. Right. God's the one that made that happen.
Yeah.
And having this pride and this jealousy, my thing is you're supposed to be an example to teenagers and kids watching, looking up to you. And this is not a very good example. And I just say, hey, what do we do here? What do we talk about?
Well, I think part of the issue is that any and every time we reintroduce the race card, what it does is it brings back that division that can seep into culture. And if we're really trying as a nation and as a world to reduce that gap, because what have we been talking about, right? DEI. What's the goal of DEI, right? We know that it doesn't work, right. But at its core, I think people originally wanted DEI because they're fighting for equity, which is that black versus white doesn't matter. But anytime, and now we know, and we've known this from day one, but the left hasn't, and they're finding it out. DEI doesn't work. Because you don't look at people's individual merits, you look at race, you look at sex ideology, you look at all of those different things that don't factor in to your performance. And so anytime we start to use the race card, it just sets us back 10, 15 years. We saw this with Obama. We saw and honestly, the perpetrators that I've seen of this kind of language have been black. And it's like, okay, so do you want to move forward, or do you want to continue to make this the talking point? Because I feel like that's what the talking point is.
Always.
From her.
It's from her.
And neither one of these women are so you have to, I don't know anything about the WNBA.
Yeah.
But why Chicago? And I understand
that's where she's from.
Right, but neither one of those players play in Chicago, right? One's in Indiana and one's in
well, that's her home.
Okay.
Chicago's her home.
Gotcha.
That's her neighborhood where she grew up.
Okay.
And it's a Nike ad.
Oh, it's a Nike ad. Okay,
Nike
okay. I thought it was WNBA. I'm going,
Nike put the ad up.
Okay. That makes sense.
I think, Angel Reese is just upset. I mean, Listen, I'm looking at the stats, comparing the two, and well, it looks like Caitlin Clark in every single area except one. They're tied in one, and then Angel Reese has a better record in one of these areas than Caitlin Clark. But Caitlin Clark in every single area has better stats. Stats aren't everything to me,
sure.
But that's what they go
by. Yeah.
And I don't even really care about who's better in that regard. What I care about is the attitude in which you have and which you're carrying into the world. And we, as people, especially Christians, should not be walking around with a prideful attitude. That'd be like me coming around here at Ridge Church saying, you know what? Look what I've done here.
Yeah.
Look at this place that I've built. Look at the kind of pastor I am with all these people. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I mean, that me just saying that makes me want to throw up.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. It's
no
not
humility in
It's
that.
not something people want to follow, right? I think that's the funny thing is when we start to edify ourselves, God says, "Okay, well, I'll take care of that real quick."
Yeah.
And so I don't know. Does she proclaim to be a Christian?
I don't know. I do not know about either one of them, honestly.
Gotcha.
I know that, it's like anything else. Am I good at what I do? Sure. I think I'm good at what I do. But am I this good?
Right.
To get to the place where we are today? No.
Or to think you're owed.
Only God is the one that can get us where we are through my obedience. It's no different than these two ladies or any other professional athlete like Brock Purdy, who I'm a huge fan of, strong believer, and all the crap he gets for where his stance is, but he's so humble.
Yeah.
And I love that. Patrick Mahomes, on the other hand, proclaims to be a Christian, but yet his lifestyle doesn't reflect it. And I'm not saying he's very prideful because he's not been that way either. He seems like he's very humble as well.
Sure.
His lifestyle doesn't seem to reflect Christianity, which is good because I like the fact that Patrick Mahomes is not braggadocious.
Yeah.
Like Kelsey is.
Yeah.
Travis Kelsey, braggadocious.
Yeah.
He's not liked among a lot of the people. Patrick Mahomes is because it seems that he's pretty humble.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we have created this issue in our world where movie stars, pro athletes, they feel entitled.
Oh yeah.
That they are owed something, that we should, listen to what they're saying, and I feel like that's a dangerous culture altogether. So I'm out on Caitlin Clark and Angela Reese, whoever it was.
Yeah, I don't watch WNBA.
Yeah.
I mean, I
could
like
go
to
away
see
for all
some
I
of the
care.
highlights and stuff, but I'm not a WNBA fan. I mean, whatever.
Yeah. I'm not even an NBA fan, so I definitely am not a W.
I think NBA has gotten so political.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. Should they have a platform to speak their mind? Sure, they have.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I don't have a problem with that.
No.
But I think it is. I think that needs to be in your personal side and maybe not on the court side or whatever. But anyway.
Well, what happened to sportsmanlike like that's what it's not sportsmanlike,
No.
So
well, when I watch NBA today, I see a lot of highlights of just a lot of fights nowadays.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they had fights before, but man, come on. What are we showing our next generation?
Yeah.
What kind of example are we showing to them that we're getting in these fist fights over a call or over somebody playing defense against us? I mean, it's insanity to me.
It is.
I don't know. It's just something that I saw. It was bothering me. I was going to do this big old long post about this arrogant woman because she's very arrogant and prideful, and I just have a struggle with arrogant, prideful people.
Yeah.
I'm good with confidence.
Yeah.
Like, listen, there is a difference.
There is.
A lot of people struggle with people who are confident and are that are very boisterous of their confidence. They call that pride. When I don't see that as being pride, I just see that person as being confident in who they are.
Sure.
But when you start saying that I'm the better athlete, I'm the one that should be the face of the NBA, I'm the one, I, well, then you got a I problem.
Then what I say is, okay, fight for that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, then allow your work to speak for you.
Yeah, right.
Don't make it your words, because Caitlin Clark, whether we like it or not, whether we care or not, she is the brand of the She's the one who put him on the map. Yep. So okay, then catch up. I don't know.
That's exactly right. Well, let's talk about some other things. I mean, you got anything specific? I know I wanted to talk about Elon Musk.
Yeah, this is fascinating. Now we're getting into my.
So I saw a post the other day.
Yeah.
I could probably pull it up. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull it up. But I reposted it, and I basically this is what it says. It said where did we go? Here it is. It says you own a store Your store gets robbed. Elon looks at the video footage of the robbery and tells you who did it. Now you want to arrest Elon.
Right.
They made this, and then, of course, at the bottom it says you're an idiot.
Right.
Which is something I would say because there are a lot of idiots out there, and a lot of people think that's wrong because I'm a pastor and I should never call anybody idiot. First of all, I'm not going to, most likely, I would say 99%. I don't know if I'd go any higher than that, but 99% of the time, I'm not going to call you an idiot one-on-one.
Right.
Okay? Now, I might, I've called Austin an idiot before. I've called Austin an idiot before because they're my kids. It might be my best friend or something.
Yeah.
But in most cases, I'm not going to call somebody an idiot in person. But on the internet, I'm going to call a group of people idiots because, well, they are. I mean, when you look at how stupid this even sounds and not really fully understanding the Constitution and how our government works and how we only elect certain officials, and those officials then choose the cabinet, the people they want to work for them, and then those people have full authority to do the things that they're doing, and that's exactly what's going on with Elon Musk. But for some reason, everybody's pissed off at Elon Musk because he's going in and firing people, and he's finding wasteful spending of your tax dollars, and people are mad about it. It's like, what? And then I had somebody comment, and I don't say I really know completely the motivation behind their comment, but it kind of gave a different story. And I'm like, well, obviously.
Devil's advocate, you could say, or you could say they're just not aware of the issue.
And I know them personally, and I mean, what I know of them, they're good people. It's not that. It's just they might have a different view than me, and that's okay if they do. It's not, I mean, we could respectfully disagree, right?
Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit about what Elon Musk is doing. Let me say this, and then you can go.
Okay, yeah.
I will tell you right now, in my opinion, Donald J. Trump has done more for this country in the last 4 weeks than Joe Biden did in the last 4 years.
Yeah, 100%.
Joe Biden had his feet in the sand on vacation more days than the office.
Yep.
Trump, on the other hand, has been kicking some hind end.
Yep.
He is out there busting it and getting it done, and the left doesn't like it. And this is anytime you're doing the right thing, you're going to get a lot of pushback.
That's right.
The way it works.
Anytime you're doing anything, you get pushback.
Well, I know, but the right thing.
Especially the right thing.
I mean, if you're doing the right thing, all of a sudden you're this, you're a bigot, you're that, and it just goes on and on and on and on. And so
it is interesting how quickly people like Oprah, who were sloughing it with Elon Musk for years and decades. Green energy, he's all about the Tesla, and he's all of these things where he's trying to be inventive, SpaceX, and everyone was on board with him. The moment that he decides to get on the Trump train, he is completely ostracized. Now they're calling him President Musk, right? We've seen that. And I really do try. I do try anytime I see a new. And I act like I'm 40 years old, but I've only seen like 3 administrations come in and do something, right? So I don't have a lot to compare it to. But anytime I've seen this, what I try to do is I try to say, okay, because the balance of power is tricky. And so whenever they were wanting to add like 10 justices to the Supreme Court, do you remember that?
Yep.
I'm sitting here going, no, because if we were in power, what I mean by that is if the conservatives were in power, I wouldn't want them doing that either, because that decision has a long-lasting effect. You're changing culture.
Right.
You're changing the way things are done. You're not doing an executive order that can be repealed by the next administration. You're setting precedents, and that's a scary thing. So anytime I see the pendulum of power swing, and we are in power, I'll say it like that in air quotes, I always go, okay, how would I feel if the other party were the ones doing this?
Right, yeah.
Because right now it feels great. It feels great, man. I'm like, get him, Musk, right? Get him, Doge.
Right.
And I think a lot of this outrage that we're seeing comes from ignorance of what people understand about the powers of the president.
Right.
How is this let me back up actually. So the Doge, which is Department of Government Efficiency, all it is it was a pre-existing department within the United States government. Yep. Do you guys know that? Yep. It was called the United States Digital Service. And they renamed it to Doge. And the USDS was responsible as kind of the central hub of all of the policy push-outs. That's how you allow 2.5, let's see here, workforce. That's how you allow 2.2 million employees to be on the same page about policies that the president pushes out. That's how you have central communication. What Doge has done is Trump said, I'm going to take this thing that was implemented, that was established underneath the executive office of the president, and I'm changing the name of it, which I have the right to do, and I'm appointing a department head of that department that reports directly to me as the president of the United States. He has the right and the ability to do that. Yep. So he's not out of bounds when it comes to his presidential power. He also is not setting a new precedent. What he's doing is he's being efficient. And what we know of the government, what we know of the left at least, is they don't want to be efficient. Yep. They want to be invisible because that's how I can benefit from the system.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And so I think we first have to understand that. And then the second thing is all that Musk is doing is providing details for Trump, the person in charge, to go, yeah, Musk, go ahead and axe that. Mm-hmm. Elon isn't the one saying we want to abolish the Department of Education. Right. That's been Trump's talking point from day one. Right. So it's no different than...
Along with the IRS.
Along with the IRS. Post Service. And along with, establishing an ERS. Did you hear about that? An External Revenue Service.
Oh, no.
For countries that do business with us, how we tax and tariff them. He wants to implement an ERS and abolish the IRS. What is wrong with that? Why do you want to pay taxes?
Right.
And so it's like, we have to first understand that. And then the second thing is it's no different than like the Department of State, the head of the Secretary of State. They represent the president's wishes. And so it's a whole bunch of people getting in an uproar out of nothing and out of ignorance. And again, I try to see it out of balance, right?
Obama's the one that put this program into place in 2014.
Correct.
He is the one that went in there and said, we got to do something about our government spending, and we need to have some accountability. Now, the problem with Obama is he never followed through with it. He got it started. Yeah. He never finished. Trump is finishing it.
Yeah.
Because that's what Trump does.
Yeah.
And he changed the name because it fit perfect with Elon Musk having the Dogecoin.
Pretty good.
So it's very creative, very up in your face, and it's really a slap in the face, which I think is great. I love that kind of stuff.
And we're in a crisis time right now.
I mean, we got billions of dollars being wasted.
And the call for us paying those debts back are coming. Right? And so we are in this place where we have to become solvent again as a nation. Otherwise, we are going to be a slave to the debtor, which we already are, or the lender. We're already a slave to the lender.
Right.
We see, we got $200 billion in government wages. That is just, from what I'm understanding, is that just the executive branch?
That's what it says, yeah.
Because if that's the case, that's even worse.
Yeah. That's just the executive.
2.2 million people in the executive branch. Now that includes the FBI, the ATF, ICE, all that stuff. Yep. But it's just like, people don't understand that? I think it's an amazing thing. I've been waiting my whole life for something like this because it's like, this is the transparency that people want to see in a government.
Well, it's like anything else. They want to see it, but then they don't want to go through it because it actually hurts in other areas.
And it does.
And it takes money out of other people's pockets, and they don't like it. They've been able to just pad their pockets.
Yeah.
And that's part of the issue with all the government waste.
Yeah.
I love what Trump is doing. I love that Trump is bringing everything back. I mean, I just saw a post the other day of how Apple, in its largest ever commitment to America, is going to commit $500 billion back into America by what? Instead of outsourcing some of the products they use for Apple, they're going to do it in the United States.
That's right.
Create over 20,000 new jobs in the United States that essentially over I think it's a 4 or 5 year period that they're going to create over $500 billion within the United States.
Yeah.
There are 3 to 4 other companies doing the same thing. Some of them are, one of them was Saudi Arabia. The Saudis who have the oil are going to give back like $1.4 trillion. How are they doing that? I didn't get into all those details. The only one I really looked at was Apple. But these are all the things that Trump is doing. He's bringing money back into America where we can actually be self-sufficient, quit relying on all the foreign trade. We need some of the foreign trade, but he's going to tariff the crap out of it because they're ripping us off by the billions, to where it's going to help us in the long run. Here's what I will say, my personal opinion. I'm not an expert in any of this, but I hear a lot of people saying, well, that's going to make the cost of the things we purchase go up. I'm going to say, yes, it probably will for a very short period of time.
Yes.
We are probably going to have to pay a little more money for the things that we want that come from overseas until these people get it and understand they're going to do one or two things. They're going to start owning up to what they owe us, or we're going to do exactly what Apple and a couple of these other tech firms are doing, and that is put the jobs back into the hands of the American people.
Right.
And when you do that, it's going to lower the cost of those products because they're going to be made right here where it wouldn't have the 25% tariff on it. And it's going to put money back in the hands of the American people as the workers, which is going to create more jobs.
Yep.
To me, it just makes it always has to get worse before it gets better.
It's like a massage.
Ooh, that's a good way to look at it.
You get a massage.
Working that knot out.
And that knot, man, sometimes they'll tell you, hey, I'm going to hit this spot, and you're going to have a headache immediately when I hit this spot. Man. They do. And then you feel good right after. And then there's still some delayed pain if you don't do what you're supposed to do afterwards. So this massage that Doge is doing to the government, we got to continue the accountability, or we're just going to get right back to where we were before, out of alignment.
Here it is. Investments in the U.S. under President Trump, $14.1 billion. Was a bid from Nippon Steel.
Okay.
So the steel company is going to, again, I don't know all the details.
Sure.
But that steel company said, we are going to invest back into the USA by creating jobs, doing whatever it is they're doing. And there's going to be $14.1 billion. Husani Sawajani, I don't even know how to say all that. That's something foreign. $20 billion. $500 billion over 4 years from Apple. $500 billion over 4 years from Stargate, which is what?
That's Elon Musk. Yep.
Again, Elon Musk getting it done, investing, guaranteeing $500 billion in 4 years, and then of course $600 billion from Saudi Arabia, which I'm assuming is more oil.
I would assume
whatever for oil.
Yeah.
And everybody, when you look at the comments on here of this, everybody, even from Canada, they're like, man, we wish our president had the balls to do what he's doing. We wish our president was so invested and loved America or loved Canada so much that he would do these things. I mean, all the comments are very positive. Yeah, of course you're going to get negative comments because that's just people. Yeah. But these are things, man, that Trump is doing. He is making a difference in America, and we are going to see the results. And he is not, he's just getting started.
Yeah, he is just
6 weeks in?
It's literally 6 weeks in.
6 weeks in, and he has done more than Biden has done in 4 solid years. I know the House, or the Senate, I guess it was, one of them, did not pass.
It was the House.
The bill for the no tax on tips, and then also on Social Security. Yeah. But I'm telling you, that ain't over yet.
No, it's not.
That is going to get passed. Somehow, some way, Trump's going to get in there and get that done, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, I do too.
I am sick and tired of being taxed. If you got something to say.
I do.
If you I'm gonna look this up.
If you want to kind of just see a little bit of, maybe you're watching this and you're like, I don't know about Doge, I don't know about Musk. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to go to doge.gov and just look at that website and tell me that this guy has anything but America's best interest at mind. He has America's best interest at heart. He is not doing this for any other reason. I just encourage you to go take a look at it. That's all. Doge.gov.
All right, listen to this. This is the stuff that people don't think about. The biggest scam in life is paying taxes on the money you make, and then paying taxes on the money you spend, and then taxes on the things that you own that you already paid taxes on with already money that's been taxed.
Yep. Yeah, we're idiots.
That is taxation without representation, brother.
We're idiots.
We are idiots. I really just feel like saying, you know what? I'm not going to pay taxes anymore.
Yeah, this might be the administration to do
Personal income taxes, that is. Because I got to pay taxes on everything I buy.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm taxed on the money I make.
Yeah.
I'm taxed on the things that I purchase. I'm taxed on the things that I bought with the money that I paid tax on, with the money that I paid tax on, that I own, called personal property tax.
Yeah. And then any investments you make, if you make any, you're taxed on that.
My goodness.
You're either pre-taxed or post-taxed.
And Trump is trying to say, like, hey, let's fix this nonsense.
Yeah.
And let's figure out a different way to make it happen.
Yeah. 100%.
Now we could talk about
I'm all for it. Yeah. I think people just need to settle in and take a beat. And I think we're preaching to the choir right now.
You ever seen that? There's a couple videos out there. One of them is a video of you see all the women in the forest, and they're all screaming and yelling, and they're like releasing some kind of anger. Have you ever seen that?
You talking about the inauguration day of Trump the first time?
Yeah,
that's what it looked like.
Yeah, they show videos of these whatever. There's also like a young kid that's got a stocking cap on and glasses, and he's screaming.
Yes, yeah, that's a woman.
That's a woman?
That's a woman.
Oh, dear
Yeah,
God.
I know exactly what
Looks
you're
like a
talking
man
about.
to me,
No,
but
that's a woman.
Well, that's another issue with our country that we could probably talk about. But my gosh, I mean, come on, man. If you got a penis, you're a boy. You got a vagina, you're a girl. There is no in between. Don't even think about it. That's the bottom line. So evidently this is a girl, but she looks like a boy.
Yeah.
But that video is all these women in the forest. Now, some of the memes are like, these are... you send it to your guy friends, and it says these are the women out there exercising some rite of frustrated with your husband. They're all in the forest screaming, like wailing. You know? And all I can see is all the liberals, the whole left. This is what they're doing every single day that the news comes on. They're just back they're in a fetal position in their house, wherever they are, curled up, whining and crying about what Trump's doing. When we had to endure 4 years of nonsense.
Yeah.
With COVID. And
what's her name?
else.
Oprah she is moving to Italy apparently.
Oh, thank God.
She said, "I'll be back in 4 years, but I can't do this."
Oh my Lord.
And they always make that threat, but apparently she's going to take the plunge and go to Italy. So we'll see.
We'll see if she actually.
We'll see how
follows
that goes.
I just saw a lot of athletes and movie stars that said they were moving, but they're still here.
Yeah, I just saw that this morning, so time will tell. But anyway,
funny. Well,
yeah,
I know. And then the funny thing about Elon Musk right now is they're trying to boycott
Tesla, yeah.
And they're trying to make a big deal. And of course, it hasn't worked. I'm just going to tell you right now, you cannot cancel the man.
No.
And you know what? He doesn't care if you do. He's got so much money.
Yeah.
You think Tesla's a big deal to him?
He doesn't have, he's not worried about it, I'm
He
sure.
ain't worried about any of that nonsense.
Admirable for sure. But
geez, we probably ought to talk about something positive.
Yeah, do we have anything?
I don't have anything either. I do have one thing that's positive.
What?
Man, if you go to Roots Church,
it's true. We have a lot.
Getting her done,
yes,
baby.
we are. Yes, we are.
We just posted that our new auditorium, the steel went up. The whole entire frame of the steel auditorium went up in one day.
Yep.
Basically, they had one row left, but let's just call it a day and a half. Everything went up. Today, they're putting all the girders on, or whatever you want to call it. And then they'll get it all squared up. Take about a week for them to square it up, put all the tension cables and all that on to get it solid, and then start putting a roof on that thing.
Yeah, man.
Siding on it, insulate it. We should be under roof with everything in 4 weeks.
How does that feel?
Oh man!
I mean, you've been pursuing this
the
for
building go up is exciting.
Yeah, for 10 years, right? I mean, this has been part of the vision.
This is 10 years pastoring Roots Church, and
the goal was to be doing this at 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. Yeah, absolutely. So basically, the way that worked was, when we got there, year one in 2015, we began to cast vision.
Yep.
And we basically told everybody that in 10 years, we wanted to be fully in our new building by that time, because we knew we didn't have any money.
Right.
We didn't have any money, and we didn't have hardly anybody coming. And we just started laying it out, and we were doing that jar experience to kind of show the illustration that everybody has a part to play.
Yep.
And when everybody does their part, whatever their portion is, the illustrations you pour it into the bigger vase, which is the church. God's house, your place of worship, that we can do a lot more together, and we can do it a lot quicker.
Yeah,
100%. I mean, if I was going to build this building, I could build it, but it'd probably take me 40 years to build it if I did it by myself.
Exactly.
Where we're able to do it in 9 years or less, technically. It actually has gone a lot quicker because we revamped the original space, we spent money on that. And then we moved into this building, and we did it in a couple phases.
Yeah.
In phase one, we were able to move in. That was $4.5 million. That we were been able to move in and take care of that. Now the new project's another $4.5, almost $5 million, and we paid half of that in cash. And God is just really providing, and so we're able to finish everything at this campus. It looks like we will be able to do 100% of everything at this campus, what we want to do originally, and we'll have to borrow a little bit unless the people come through financially, but we're able to have all the money to do whatever we need to do. And then of course we want to pay off that debt. That's the next thing. We want to add more campuses. That's
I was going to say, what's next, but
I've been already thinking about that. I already got a place that I want to do at the next campus. Already been looking at land, because in my mind, this building project is already closing out in my
Sure,
mind, even
sure.
though it's in the process. So now I have to think about what's ahead in 2 years. That's another campus. And also we want to do a private school right here on this campus. That's a $25 million project.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got a lot of work to do. But
the work
it's
is never
exciting
done.
because we're going to have the most intimate worship space that seats 900 people.
Yeah.
And it's not even going to feel like you're seating 900 people.
We were in the footprint the other day, and I'm going, this is going to be cool. Like,
It's gonna be so
it's not
intimate.
going to feel like you're in the Enterprise Center or anything like that. It's literally, it's just going to be awesome.
I mean, if you've been to our current
gonna be
church
awesome.
right now, it is the same depth as it is currently. The only difference is it's 180-degree seating.
Yeah.
So when I'm up there preaching, I'll have people on exactly 90-degree away from me all the way around the whole building.
Yep.
And it'll be very intimate. So I'm excited. So that building is going up. We got our offices done back here. The new podcast room is finished, which is what you're seeing right now. And
A lot of new real estate.
we
It's
still got
awesome.
some other buildings we still got to do that's in this process, but we got to get the auditorium up first, and they'll start on the facility, storage, warehouse, and then after that, it's the pastor's suite.
Yeah.
And that's not just for me, by the way, but it's for any of our guest pastors that come or any of our guests.
Yeah, if we want to do concerts, like we went to that church in Illinois a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And they brought in Red Rocks Worship.
Yep.
Like that's what that's for, is when you bring in those types of bands or people, it's going to be something super cool. I'm glad to be a part of that. So if you go to Reach Church, you do have something to be excited about because it's coming very, very quickly.
Coming quick, man. We'd encourage you to get here, be a part of what we're doing, be a part of what God's doing. He's moving. We see a lot of life change. There's a lot of positivity going on. We're in the reset mode.
Yeah.
We're resetting spiritually, mentally, relationally, physically, and financially.
Yeah.
Those are the 5 areas that we're resetting in, and I think a lot of people have been doing a great job. It takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
That's the word for the church for the year.
Yeah.
And then, of course, each individual person might have a word, and that's what this weekend is all about, is our JAR experience. Bring your word, bring what God wants you to bring, and give towards this, to his house, first of all, but also to the Further campaign.
Yeah.
And those are some good things happening, along with just a lot of things, man. It's been busy around here.
It has been.
Busy. What I want to do on the next podcast, and we should be able to do this by the next one, is we're going to bring in our youth pastor.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about the next gen. We're going to talk about what it looks like to minister and to reach the next gen, our teenagers.
Because it's changed. How do we do that?
It is change, and it's a big deal. And I don't know, it's been going good so far.
Yeah.
Now, we had 2 weeks of snow.
Yeah.
That they were on this really good trajectory, and then the snow came, and then this last week they got to meet for the first time in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And the numbers were down, it looked like a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's because, man, with teenagers, it's got to be consistent every week. Or
get them out of routine.
Yeah, you got to get in a routine. So those are some things that are happening. Other than that, man, I don't know if there's anything else you want to let these fine people know.
No, I don't think so.
What I do want you to do is I want you to subscribe to this podcast page, Unfiltered. Subscribe. Every time one comes out, it'll automatically notify you so you can go watch it. Number 2, I want you to tag somebody. Let them know about the Unfiltered podcast. Tell them to subscribe and follow. We want to grow this page. The more we grow, the more intentional we're going to get. We actually have a whole year planned of topics, but every once in a while when a wrench gets thrown in because of somebody being sick or something comes up, we're going to do what we did today, and that is a free fall Friday. Talk about whatever we want, and we're going to do it in an unfiltered way. So if you get offended, well, whatever pants you get offended in needs to be the pants you need to get unfended in.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
First of all, let's end it like this.
Yeah.
Why is it people get so offended at things?
Because they see themselves in whatever you're saying.
Oh, so they're just
convicted. I don't think they maybe all the time understand that, but
self-awareness
is a very beautiful thing. When you are self-aware, you can come to me and say, "Hey, you're not doing your physical stuff yet. You know what? You're right, but I'm planning on stopping trying." It's like, just be self-aware. Just own it, man.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's hard. It can be hard.
Like, there's not really anything. I would say the majority of stuff in my life, I'm not going to get offended at.
Sure, yeah.
Where I get offended is if you personally attack me or my family or like what I do here at the church.
Yeah.
Like my ministry.
Yeah.
If you're telling me that I'm not doing a good job or I need to do it a different way, that's where I am more of the chance of being offended.
Sure.
That doesn't mean I get offended. I'm just saying that is more of a chance when you start attacking me personally. Mm-hmm. If you're attacking my beliefs, my religion, my God, you know, my political stance, all that, I don't get offended at that.
Right.
Like, it doesn't bother me at all when you have your own opinion about those areas. I'm not offended.
Right.
It's only, for me, it's only when you attack me personally when that opportunity comes. But for a lot of people, when you sit there and say, there's only two genders, male and female, there's nothing in between, and then all those people that have different thoughts are like, oh, I'm so offended at what you say, and I'm like, well, I could say the same thing about being offended that you're saying there's other genders when there's not.
Well, and I also believe that there's this thing called, I just made it up in my head, I don't know, secondhand offense.
Yeah.
Where like secondhand smoke, right? It's like you're getting offended for other people who haven't even told you that they're offended.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, oh, let me be offended for you. Let me virtue signal, you know, and let me read their mind. No. If they're offended, let them say something.
Yeah, I love, we had this happen here at Roots a while back. I was on a topic of the God and Country series. And, you know, man, we were hitting it hard. And somebody in the church got offended at what I was saying. And it was all about the whole Black Lives Matter thing. You know, I was talking about Black Lives Matter and how that whole movement is nothing but evil and Marxist driven. And somebody got upset and went to somebody else and said, hey, I want to apologize on behalf of the pastor for what he said.
Yep.
And, oh, let me tell you, that put me through the roof. That offended me.
Yeah.
That offended me because, first of all, I don't need you to apologize for me.
Right.
I also don't even need you to stand up for me.
Right.
Now, I love when people take a stand for me, no doubt, but I don't need you to do that. Don't act like you're doing me a favor by standing for me, because this also just happened recently where somebody was mad at me and they said, well, I've stood for you all this time and you're going to actually say what you had to say. The whole thing was about the whole organic, which is JFK, and then the GMO of the health lady. They were so offended at that post that they're like, I stood for you and I backed you the whole time. Well, those days are over. And I'm like, I honestly didn't even know that you were standing for me, and I honestly haven't felt the difference of you standing or not standing for me.
Oh, and I believe,
because it doesn't matter in my life.
And I believe you said, you know, this is the thing that's going to push you over the edge.
This is the thing.
Out of all the things that have been said or whatever, I don't know.
Now again, I like when people defend me and stand for me. No doubt. I'm not saying I don't like it.
You just don't expect it.
I don't expect it, but I also don't necessarily need it.
Yeah. Well, you say that all the time for the church. I mean,
there could be 300 of you taking a stand for me, and there could be 5,000 that are against me, and I'm still going to believe what I believe. Yeah. Whether I have 300 or 5, it doesn't matter. Yeah. I'm still going to believe what I believe. I'm still going to say what I want to say, because that's the kind of person I am.
Well, and I think also your beliefs are rooted in something that really can't be, they're timeless. It's not a fad. It's not something that today you're on it, tomorrow you're not. So it's very easy to go, you know what? No, I'm grounded in reality.
It's called My Truth is Jesus Christ.
That's right.
The rock.
Right. Yeah.
In which I stand and live my life, because when you know the truth will set you free.
For which it stands one nation under God.
Which is funny, because I just posted that with all those people's head in the sand.
Yeah.
And it's because they want to, they know the truth, but they're ignoring the truth.
Yeah.
And they're believing the lie. It's like you got your head stuck in the sand.
That is what it is.
And that's unfortunately the way America is, and people.
I think we're on a better path, though. I think we're getting there.
We're on a better path.
We'll see. We'll see in 3 months and 3 years and 11 months if we're on a better path.
And hey, we may be sitting here going, "Oh my God, Trump was the worst thing we've ever done."
You never know.
I doubt it.
I doubt it as well, but we'll see.
All right, listen. We love you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this Unfiltered podcast. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Have a safe day. We'll see you next time.